I've been playing with DALL-E 3 a lot recently. I've made over 1,100 images with it now in the last month or so. And one of the first batches of images I made, I tried to make a cosmic version of David Bowie, like him, like he was like a constellation of stars almost, right? And it turned out really well.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I tried to make one of Frank Zappa. It did a cool job, and I thought I want Frank Zappa and David Bowie to have a fist fight. And I made a bunch of pictures of them fighting each other. And then like later on, I tried to do something like I wanted Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger to fight, and I was like, no, we can't do that. And I was like, wait, so I can make Bowie and Zappa fight in space or wherever, but I can't make Schwarzenegger and Stallone fight. And there's actually videos of them fighting in movies, like they've actually done it. So like they've actually had a physical fight in real life, but I can't make it artificial. But that's what it is. It's because their images are protected, right? Like I legally can't produce a Sylvester Stallone lookalike.
Yeah. I think I think you might be able to find ways around that. I don't know what they would be,
Probably
though,
can.
but I'm pretty sure that somebody somewhere would know. Well, if you do this, you can get around that. One of the ways that you can fool ChatGPT is to tell it that it's fiction. You can, if you say I'm writing a book about, it will tell you anything. It will play with any ideas. But if you say, is it possible that this other thing is real rather than this thing that everybody thinks is real? It will say no. The real thing's real, and you're just off the scale. If you say, but I'm writing a book in which my character thinks that, why would he come to that conclusion? Well, he would come to that conclusion because of blah 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 blah, and it'll tell you anything. It'll engage in the most wonderful flights of fantasy if you tell it you're writing a book and you want its help. I was writing something recently about, or I was thinking about dark matter and things like that, and trying to come up with alternative theories. And I think that the AIs should be a fantastic tool for that, because they can draw information from so many different sources. But if you say, is it possible that dark matter is, and then give it your idea, it'll go, no, dark matter is, and then it'll tell you the standard theory. But if you say, I'm writing a book in which my proposal is that dark matter is this other thing, it'll go, well, you would need to think about this. I got it down to the point where it was giving me differential equations that I could use, which was astonishing.
Yeah, the thing I've noticed too with the DALL-E 3 is that there was images I could produce a month ago that it won't let me produce now.
That's right. They take what people are doing, and they get feedback about what people are doing, and then they change it. They go, people are doing that, right? We need to stop that. Yeah, definitely.
Like I sent you a couple of the Zappa pictures on WhatsApp there that I made, the cosmic Zappas. And here, I just sent you one here now. This is an image I made now that I can't use the prompt anymore. The one I just sent you. If I use that same prompt, it'll just reject it and say, no, we can't make that for you.
I like that. Yes. See, that doesn't look exactly like Zappa. The top one does. The one where he's looking
too symmetrical
to the side. The one below it, yes,
it's too symmetrical. Yeah, it's like they use only one half of Zappa.
Yeah, exactly. What's the teeth and mushrooms one?
That's that one there. I think it's the teratoma that got me banned. Teratoma is a human like a growth inside your body that they often find full of teeth and hair.
Oh yeah. Oh God, I've heard about that recently. Yeah. God, that freaked me out. That really freaked me out. It's like a bit of a person's grown inside you. Yeah. Oh my God.
Well, yeah, they basically say it's kind of like a misformed version of your twin that was born inside you instead of outside you. You know, so one of the first dozen images I made was a bunch of these teratomas, and I made a bunch of them. Like they're gorgeous. And like you're also seeing imagery of mushrooms and eyes in your art.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I'd have to find some sort of other wording to make these pictures again. So I'm glad I saved them, you know, because I'm using DALL-E for free through Bing, so it only saves like your last 20 images. So
yeah,
I'm saving them all to my hard drive.
I'm still paying for Midjourney. I keep swithering about stopping paying for it, but I always go back to it and end up doing something, you know. But it's a rabbit hole, isn't it? It's like you go in to do one thing and you end up 3 hours later. You've got, as you say, you've got 100 images as you've followed, gone down the rabbit hole. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a bunch like this one here I just sent you. I can't make that one anymore the way I made it, and the
spidery tooth thing.
Yeah, exactly. And then this thing here too. This one here I forget what I was trying to make with this, but I was trying to make the moment monkeys discovered tools for the first time. I was trying to, and I was trying to but make it crazy and mad, and it was the guys at work were someone at work from India just moved to Toronto, and they saw their first harvest moon from a skyscraper, and they took this picture of this big orange moon in the sky. And they're like, "What the hell is this?" And I'm like, and some coworker said, "Imagine what the monkeys thought when they first saw their first harvest moon." So that's a picture I made.
Right.
I was like, this is probably what happened.
Yeah.
And they were like, how do you do this? And
that monkey in the foreground is completely freaked out. He's he's saying to his mates, "What the fuck is this? What is this?" And that one in the tree that's sort of isolated against the moon, it's worshipping it or something. Or yeah. That's brilliant.
I know, eh?
I love the AI images. They're absolutely wonderful.
Oh, they're so fun, and it's neat because it's funny because I bet you find yourself when you make your AI images, you probably get tired sometimes because you probably get a lot of repetition because you're, because it's feeding off of you. But then you see someone else's AI images and you're going how the hell did you come up with that? Right? Yeah. Because it's but for them it's easy because well, that just came out of my head. How did you do yours?
Yeah.
So I find AI is wonderfully reflective of whatever is happening. So I've decided I'm going to use AI to make my Taste the Future, Smell the Future, and Hear the Future album covers. I've already made them, I think.
Brilliant.
And that's where I got in an argument with that guy on Facebook the other day, or on YouTube the other day I told you about. Who, I was on a Steve Wilson video, and some guy made a comment about at least Steve Wilson makes real music videos, unlike all those prog rock guys who just morph a bunch of AI photos together, which made me think of your videos, right?
That's exactly what I do.
Yeah. So I dived into it with a defense, going well, as someone who produces his own music, is raising a child, is trying to run his own business, and has a day job, and I not only do I produce my own music, I mix it, I master it, I compose it, I perform every little bit of it. If somebody's gonna come up to me and give me shit because I used AI for music video, go fuck yourself. And this guy was just if you can't afford to pay someone to play it, then you don't deserve to have art, whatever the fuck he said, right?
Yeah.
Oh my fucking God. I'd love to have, all I can imagine was being married to somebody like that. How do you win an argument with someone like that? Who's gonna twist anything to fit their own fucking narrative to be and then I went to his channel, and of course, what's his channel full of? He pays orchestras to perform his music for him. Right, his whole channel is full of orchestras that he paid to make his music.
Right.
So and it's great music, but of course he's defending his own way of making music. He's going
of course.
Because AI is a threat to someone who uses orchestras.
Yeah,
right? Because who the fuck would pay for an orchestra when they have AI at their fingers, right? I wouldn't. And AI is not a thing we use for orchestra music yet that we know of, but but you and I were discussing a lot recently of orchestral VSTs, right? Because you've been trying to rearrange your collection of VSTs and obviously bring in some orchestral elements, right? And it's not because you don't want someone with a violin to play your music. It's because you don't have somebody with a violin to play your music. You don't have somebody you don't have the room and the space and the people and the talent who are just going to give you your time and energy to make your shit. And, and I believe, and maybe I'm wrong, but I believe an artist's responsibility to financially supporting other artists should be directly linked to how much money they make off their own art, right? I believe that, yes, Roger Waters probably shouldn't be using BBC sampled orchestra pieces in his music. He should go to the BBC orchestra and say, hey, do you guys mind recording this for me? Because he's going to make $1 million off that recording. But you and I likely have lost money in everything we've ever done in music. Every recording you've released has a negative impact on your bank account.
Yeah.
Not a positive impact, right? So why should you feel financially obligated in any way to support anything but the fucking shit that you're using yourself? And I'm not talking about illegal pirating software or anything like that, or, but I mean, I'm talking literally, if you have a guitar, you probably shouldn't have beat up a kid and stole that guitar. You probably should have paid for it, or it came from some legally sourced, it should be given to you by somebody who didn't steal the guitar. But beyond that, that's as far as morals should go as an artist, I think. And even then, you could probably even stretch it that having an artist probably could get away with breaking laws even to that effect, like stealing a guitar or doing something like that. If you could probably win an argument with me if you could paint the right picture, right? I can't think of one right now why someone could morally steal a guitar and it's okay, but say you have a neighbor that doesn't play guitar. He leaves it hanging on the wall of his house all the time. It's outside, leaning against a tree, and you bring it home and make an album with that. That's okay, I guess.
You found a good example. Yeah, the way I look at it is, well, with that, especially that guy, that's interesting because you sent me that interaction that you had, and I responded to it. And then after I responded to it, I think I went off on a self-actualized rant with myself for about an hour afterwards. If I followed those rules, I wouldn't make music.
Exactly.
If I followed that guy's rules, I wouldn't be making music. So from that guy's point of view, he's writing music and getting orchestras to play it, which is great, and he's able to do that somehow. I don't know how he's able to do that, and that's fine. But my choice is to make the music using whatever tools I can get or not make it. And the same with the imagery. I can make that image, and what I would say is no artist ever loses work. Because no orchestra ever loses work because I use the tools that are available to me. Because if those tools weren't available, I ain't doing that. I ain't making that music. Now I could make music with an acoustic guitar in my voice. I've done lots of that. I could just sit there and write song after song after song, acoustic guitar and voice, and I could do that. But I want to do, and I feel obliged to do more than that. I think you feel it in your bones what you're obliged to do. Now, if you're in the fortunate position of being able to afford an orchestra and you feel that in your bones and it comes out of you and you make the orchestra do what you want to do, that's absolutely brilliant. But what I feel in my bones is I want to make soundscapes. I want to do all these things with synthesizers and all that kind of stuff. And I want to have images that match that. And some of the images that I've found have been so profound, I could never have got an artist to do it. An artist wouldn't be able to do it. That's the thing. I'm looking at your image here of the patch cables coming out of the guy's face onto the modular synthesizer. Now, even if you explained that over weeks to an artist, do you think the artist would produce that? No.
Probably not.
You couldn't find an artist to produce that. And that's the point. The world is made better by the tools that people like you and I use. The music that we make makes the world better. The images we come up with because we're creative minds make the world better. The choices we make in our music and in our presentation of images, the words that we write, all of that stuff makes the world a better place. There's something in the world that didn't exist before. And what your orchestra guy is saying is that shouldn't happen. You should just sit there with an acoustic guitar and be like a cheap Neil Young that can't afford to have a band or do that kind of stuff because you can't afford it. No, that's not what art's about. Art's about using whatever the world presents to you and saying, there could have been a caveman painting on the wall of the cave with blue. And some guy comes in and says, look, I've got this other colour. It's completely different from blue. What shall we call it? I've called it red. Do you think that's a good... And he says, no, you can't use red. We do blue pictures here, It's that kind of my attitude. We'd never get anywhere. The world would just be a kind of horrible dystopian kind of place where people with creative urges would not be able to see them actualized because the gatekeepers would be holding the keys to the orchestras and the keys to the paints and the keys to everything. You wouldn't be allowed to write anything because you're not a published author. You wouldn't be allowed to have an opinion because you haven't been at university for 10 years. You wouldn't be allowed to say anything about sport because you can't play it yourself. Come on to grips. We'll use whatever we can use, and we'll be creative, and we'll be inventive, and it'll be great, So that guy can get on his horse and leave town. That's what I say.
Well, it's good, and it's funny too because your response that you gave to me was perfect. I kind of wish I just did that, copied and pasted that, didn't engage with them. I only engaged with one comment after yours, and it was a lot of what you just said there too about me basically saying like, so you're telling me that, well, I said to him, well, by your own logic, what you should do is instead of paying people to play your music, you should learn how to play the instruments yourself and not be so lazy. I said to him or something like that. And,
yeah.
And I said, I'm just glad that you aren't in charge of what art is. You can do you, I'll do me, and we'll have at it. And he never responded, thankfully, because I didn't want to get in an argument with him because I didn't take his comment as being super negative. I just thought he was being narrow-minded, but I do agree with that. And you're right. Like, I mean, I think he misunderstands what AI is. I think he sees AI as a cheap replication of something that can be done otherwise, when he's not appreciating the fact that AI is producing results of things that are impossible without it. Because the AI represents a merging of someone's mind and their ability to put their ideas into text, and then the machine's ability to interpret that and spit something out, right? Which, is similar to telling a painter how to do something. but it's more immediate. It's much more cost effective, and it can be done with much more like exuberance, right? Like the same way digital photography revolutionized home photography, right? Because digital photography hasn't changed much for professional photographers. They still approach the medium the same way. But you and I, right? You kind of run a point and click camera. You go like, I got 32 pictures I can take before this rolls out. Like you don't go around taking pictures of just anything, and you only take one picture of anything. You don't take 3 pictures or 4 pictures. But now, I'll take a picture of Mackenzie. I'll take 20 pictures of Mackenzie doing something now, and then pull my favorite image out, right? And I can look at it immediately, and I can touch it up, and it looks better than anything I ever would have got off of a roll of film. And it doesn't cost me anything, And and if I want a physical medium, I can still get it printed off at Black's or Walmart or wherever the hell you get pictures printed nowadays. So like I just think to me it's another representation. It's like old man syndrome, right? The old man waving the fist at the clouds in the Simpsons episode. Whereas, and I'm not pointing a finger anywhere because because it's not universal to old men. I've seen 20-year-old people have old man syndrome just as well as someone who's 70 can have old man syndrome, right? I think it's a combination of ignorance, misunderstanding, and some sort of existential threat to your existence.
Yeah, I think it's called it's called Luddism, isn't it? After the Luddites. That's what it's called. It is. Yeah.
But it's funny too, because I think you and I are also both mentally capable of realizing the downfalls of AI and how it may destroy society. But yet we run into it headlong and we play with it more than anybody because we also see the beauty in something like that, like the internet, right? Like the internet has been turned against us. But 20 years ago, we knew that was going to happen, but did it stop us from utilizing the internet as much as we did? And still, right? We still do it because we know it's a tool that's invaluable to us, regardless of how it's being weaponized, right? Yeah. And music can be the same way, just like Guantanamo Bay, right? Like down in Guantanamo Bay, they torture people by playing Rage Against the Machine at high volumes and stuff. Rage Against the Machine found out about that. They sued the U.S. government for a lot of money when they found out that our songs that are made to enlighten people are being used to torture people. That's not happening. No, you can't do that. And that's beautiful. Even though I can't stand, it's funny. Rage Against the Machine is one of the most important bands in my record collection, and I can't stand any member of the band. I think, the only member of the band I like is probably Brad Wilk because he played the drums on Black Sabbath's 13.
Right.
But other than that, I find their political opinions are disjointed and hypocritical. Like they are the machine, yet they still pretend to be raging against it nowadays.
Right, I'm with you. Yeah.
That's what happens, right? We all lose touch, right? When you become a millionaire by protesting the government and the machine, it's hard to. Where do you protest against then, right? Once you have a bank account full of millions of dollars.